Welcome back to USA Car Reviews, the channel where we dig into the iron and muscle of America's greatest rides. And today, we're going deep into one of the most mysterious and underrated American muscle legends that never got the spotlight it truly deserved, the 1998 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. That's right, not 1970, not 1969, we're talking about the forgotten rebirth of a muscle icon, dropped quietly into the market at the tail end of the 90s. A car that was too bold for its time, yet somehow slipped through the cracks of pop culture. Let's be clear, when most people hear Chevelle SS, their minds jump straight to the 1974 54, arguably the pinnacle of GM's muscle car era. But in 1998, Chevrolet took a wild swing at bringing that magic back. And what they delivered was nothing short of spectacular, even if it never quite got the respect it deserved. Now, if you're scratching your head thinking, wait, Chevy didn't make a Chevelle in the late 90s, you're not wrong, at least, not officially. This car was developed quietly under Project Phoenix, intended as a rival to Ford's SVT Cobra and Dodge's Charger RT concept vehicles. It was meant to revive not just the nameplate, but the spirit of the American muscle car, while still packing the technology of the late 90s. Under the hood, a snarling 6.0-liter Vortec V8, based loosely on the LS1 architecture but tuned for raw, old-school power delivery. We're talking 385 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute, and a torque curve that hit like a sledgehammer, 410 pound-feet at just 4,200 revolutions per minute. Paired to either a 6-speed manual gearbox or a heavy-duty 4-speed automatic with paddle-like buttons mounted near the shifter, the Chevelle SS was built to put rubber to pavement and keep it there. And speaking of rubber, this thing came stock with 275-width Goodyear Eagles wrapped around 18-inch polished aluminum wheels that echoed the classic Raleigh design of the original SS. Chevy even threw in a nod to the past with dual chrome exhausts that poked out from a deep-cut rear fascia. But here's where it gets interesting. Unlike the original Chevelle, which was unapologetically bare bones inside, the 98 SS brought a surprisingly refined interior to the table. Think premium leather sports seats with SS embroidery, a retro-styled instrument cluster with modern backlighting, and even an optional in-dash CD changer, very high-tech for the time. One of the most distinctive things about this car was the design. Chevy didn't just slap a nameplate on a Malibu and call it a day. The 1998 Chevelle SS was built on a modified B-body platform, wider, lower, and meaner than the Caprice of the same era. The front fascia had quad headlights housed in smoked glass, a blacked-out grille with a red SS badge, and a cowl induction hood that actually worked, feeding cool air directly into the intake system under load. The body lines were muscular and defined, with subtle throwbacks to the 1970 model, especially in the rear quarter panels and the roofline. And around back, a full-width taillight panel with sequential turn signals, a touch borrowed straight from the playbook of the 60s muscle era. Let's talk performance. 0 to 60 came in at 5.3 seconds, not blistering by today's standards, but for 1998, that was quick. The quarter mile, 13.6 seconds at 105 miles per hour. That put it right in the ring with the Mustang Cobra and even gave the Camaro SS a run for its money, which, funnily enough, caused a lot of internal tension at GM. See, this car wasn't widely advertised. Chevy didn't push it like they did the Corvette or Camaro. Why? Because they were afraid it would outshine them. They were testing the waters. Only a limited number of these were made, around 3,500 units total, all hand-assembled at a specialized GM plant in Arlington, Texas. Some say it was a pet project of a few die-hard engineers who wanted to prove that muscle wasn't dead, just waiting to roar back to life. Driving this thing was an experience. It didn't have traction control. It didn't have stability management. What it had was torque, raw sound, and attitude. Hit the throttle too hard and the rear tires would scream. The exhaust note was deep, aggressive, and borderline unholy, the kind of sound that made you roll your windows down even in the dead of winter. Now, let's be honest, the Chevelle SS had its flaws. The suspension, while upgraded with stiffer springs and a limited slip rear diff, still felt a bit floaty at high speeds. The steering, though tighter than most American sedans of the time, lacked the precision you'd get in a German performance car. And fuel economy, well, it was a muscle car. You didn't buy this thing to save gas. But what you did buy was a piece of American car culture that almost no one else had. It was the muscle car for the enthusiast who wanted to fly under the radar. No stripes, No decals, just a black badge, a thunderous V8, and a name that made people do a double take. So why didn't it catch on? Timing. In 1998, the market was shifting. Imports were dominating, SUVs were rising, and GM was trimming fat, not investing in niche performance cars. The Chevelle SS never got a proper commercial campaign. No magazine covers, no press tours, just a few grainy photos, a couple of mentions in car forums, and word of mouth among collectors. But now, these cars are unicorns. If you find one in good shape, especially with the manual transmission, you're looking at a $40,000 to $60,000 price tag, easy. And the prices are only going up. The 1998 Chevelle SS is becoming a legend not because of how popular it was, but because of how rare, raw, and real it felt. It was a time machine with disc brakes and AC. To wrap this up, if Chevy had fully committed to the 1998 Chevelle SS, if they'd given it a proper marketing push, a few more modern touches, and a full production run, we might be talking about it today in the same breath as the Dodge Hellcat or the Mustang GT500. Instead, it remains a secret gem, a love letter to the muscle car era, written in burnouts and chrome. So if you ever see one in the wild, tip your hat. Because you're looking at the ghost of what muscle could have become. Thanks for watching USA Car Reviews. If you enjoyed this trip into an alternate reality where GM took a chance on muscle greatness, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into American classics, and let us know in the comments, if Chevy revived the Chevelle today, what would you want it to look like? See you on the road.